Yeah, they will be joining. So I would request you to give your perspective on Atmanirbhar Bihar, basically on the business and that, and then
Yes, sure. So,
we can be
hi.
joined.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Atul Thakur. I'm the Deputy Secretary at PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and I'm a columnist for Hindu, Kathmandu Post, Indian Express, among others. Have written 2 books, and I do hail from Madhubani, Bihar. Uh, with BiharConnect, my journey has been long. I think I can say that since its inception, when it was in ideation phase. And first of all, I would like to congratulate you, Gyanendra, for making Bihar self-reliant in at least one of the sectors, and that is surely the think tank sector. Because in Bihar, when we start counting on the what is available and what is not, we also come to know that we don't have so many good institutions which are into knowledge businesses or knowledge trade. So thank you very much for starting a non-partisan independent think tank in Bihar. I know it's not an easy task to operate something out of there, but as Jyotikala sir has rightly said, that we are on path of progress and things are stepping up slowly. Coming back to the points raised by one of the speakers, whom I heard with great interest, Dr. Ratnesh Chaudhary. I think his remarks were like the writings on the wall. We all will be agree with what he had just shared with us about the law and order situation, about gaps between the industrial policies and what actually we find them on the ground. I also would like to point out about the address made by our chief guest, Dr. Sanjay Paswan. I think whatever I have gathered from his remarks assuredly into a positive light, because he is somebody who thinks about Bihar. He's a thinking person, undoubtedly. But coming back to some of the points which he has raised, that Bihar can't go back to making big businesses, smoke producing businesses. I would like to make a distinction here. A small producing businesses and entire manufacturing sector is not the same thing. There has to be demarcation for sure. We can't do without making big businesses in Bihar. We have to make it for Bihar as well. At the same time, we can't convey to rest of the world that we are being protectionist now. We will keep ourselves isolated from the rest of the world and the rest of the India, in fact. And when we are talking about Atmanirbhar Bihar, that is not a subject, that is a sub-subject of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And self-reliance is not a new term, by the way. Even the central government has that understanding. And most of the ministers in the central government have said it quite often. When we will go back towards this theme, particularly self-reliance, it was first popped out in the book written by John Ruskin. The name of the book was Unto the Last. Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation, had found himself greatly influenced with that book, and he had talked about it in pre-independence times. When we got independence in 1947, Jawaharlal Nehru, our first prime minister, had laid great emphasis on making India on a path of sustainable development, and where he had imagined about public sector and private sector, and that was called mixed economies. Then he also experimented with 5 years plan, etc. So all these things were in the direction of making India self-reliant. Then we also got the institutions like IIMs, IITs, Bhakra Nangal projects, and many other things, who all were called the temples of modern democracy by our prime minister, first prime minister, Mr. Nehru. So self-reliance is not a new term. When we talk about self-reliance about Bihar, and especially in during COVID phase and post-COVID phase, that surely means it's about stopping the migration, which is very high. It's reaching to the alarming level. And it's not a new phenomenon. It was started way back in early 90s. Till 1970s, all the data were in favor of Bihar, joint Bihar, when Jharkhand used to be the part of Bihar. And industry-wise, Bihar was certainly on number 1 or number 2 position in India, competing with Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. But deterioration had started in the 1970s with so many policies, bad policies, I must say, like state equalization was a very bad policy for Bihar, because we could not have sourced coal on a cheaper price than a state like Kerala or Tamil Nadu or any other. And many other things like law and order situation. Also in 1990s, we found that the state government completely lost out on the track of development. There was no development narrative. Fortunately, now really we are on track of progress, because at least we are talking about all these issues. Even the leaders are showing great amount of empathy for that. Leader of opposition, Mr. Tejasvi Yadav, has said that if we will form the government, we will create 10 lakh jobs, which is quite a statement, which must be praised by everyone. If he really comes to power, he will do that. So at the same time, Nitish Kumar has been doing so much good works in Bihar as well, though many opportunities have been lost as well. But he certainly has given so many things to Bihar, especially a sense of pride in every Bihari. Especially in his first term, he tried doing some remarkable works. On count of infrastructure creation, law and order, and hydroelectricity, Bihar has really come a long way in last 15 years. I would like to compliment our government for that. But about the opportunities lost, like sugar mills and other mills, it's not only about the mills, it's about having overall plan and policies for industrial rejuvenation in the state. Sadly, unfortunately, which is nowhere, even in reckoning, even to the date. So as the elections are around the corner, it gives us an opportunity to talk about all these issues and make our leaders accountable and better informed about the challenges which we are facing as Biharis, educated people. I will not demarcate it with blue colors or white colors. We all Biharis are alike. We all need to be given greater space to work in our own territory. So this is my viewpoint, and at the same time, I'm quite optimistic about the rise of Bihar. I don't see that my state is going to the downward spiral like in past, and the leaders have that kind of understanding now that for getting and seeking the votes, we have to offer some green suits to every voters. So I think somewhere we are on the right track, but much more needs to be done ahead.
Atulji, so we are joined by a few of our speakers have already joined from your session.
Okay.
I welcome Mr. Sesh Sarangdhar. He is the CEO of Tech Labs and Systems. I think.
Okay, so without losing the
so
time,
you can start with Sesh. Yeah.
Yes, I would like to welcome all the speakers of this session. Ease of doing business and Atmanirbhar Bihar. I would. Since Mr. Jyoti Kalas has already spoken about the prospects in Bihar, now I would like to request Dr. Vikas Kumar, Assistant Professor, Center for Research in Rural and Industrial Development, to talk about the livelihood creations in Bihar and challenges and opportunities. Dr. Vikas Kumar, over to you, sir.